She saw the camera first. And that changed everything about how this story got told. Anne Hathaway is pregnant with her third child. But the way she announced it wasn't originally her plan at all. It started with a photographer on a beach in France, and ended with one of the most talked about celebrity reveals of the year. You're about to see exactly how those two moments connect. Why Hathaway says she'd rather control her own story than let a stranger with a camera control it for her. And why this reveal is landing so differently from the ones that came before it. Let's start with where this actually began. On June 19th, paparazzi photos surfaced of Hathaway on vacation in Saint-Tropez with her husband, Adam Schulman. In those photos, she was visibly showing a baby bump. Within hours, the celebrity gossip account Du Mois had reposted the images, and the story was spreading across social media before Hathaway had said a single word about it herself. Here's the detail that makes this more than just another paparazzi story. Hathaway has been famous for over 2 decades, since breaking out in The Princess Diaries as a teenager. She knows exactly how this cycle works. Photos leak, speculation builds, and eventually the celebrity is forced to respond to a narrative they never chose to start. This time, she didn't wait for that cycle to finish playing out. Later that same day, June 19th, Hathaway posted her own announcement on Instagram. A short video set to Barbara Lewis's classic song, Baby, I'm Yours. She walked into frame in a white dress, hands covering her stomach, then lowered her arms to reveal the bump herself, smiling before stepping out of frame. The caption was simple, just a nod to the song title, and a heart. That single video did more than confirm a pregnancy. It took the story back from the people who'd already started telling it without her. Now here's where this gets more personal than most celebrity pregnancy stories do. Hathaway later told people exactly why she chose that specific day. In her words, she'd noticed a photographer taking pictures of her while on vacation, and she said it made her realize the story was going to come out, one way or another. She figured she might as well be the one telling it. She also opened up about the process behind that decision, talking it through with her husband, and landing on the idea that social media could actually work in her favor here, letting her share something deeply personal on her own terms instead of having it forced into the world by someone else's camera. That's a different kind of celebrity pregnancy story than the ones we're used to hearing. Usually, it's a magazine exclusive or a red carpet reveal months later. This one started with a stranger's zoom lens on a beach and ended with Hathaway deciding that if the moment was going to become public regardless, she'd rather it feel like hers. There's a bigger pattern behind that decision, and it goes back years before this pregnancy. Hathaway has talked before about how the industry treated her early in her career, often with a strange mix of mockery and condescension, simply for coming across as sincere instead of guarded. For a long stretch of her career, being earnest in public actually worked against her. Critics and internet commenters mocked her for seeming too eager, too polished, too willing to show genuine emotion in interviews. That history matters here, because this reveal is, in a lot of ways, Hathaway doing the exact same thing that used to get her criticized, being openly emotional, unguarded, sincere on camera, except now doing it entirely on her own terms, with nobody else able to frame it for her first. But to really understand why this reveal landed the way it did, you need to know what came before it. Hathaway and Adam Schulman have been together since 2008 after meeting at a festival in Palm Springs. They married in 2012. Their first son, Jonathan, was born in March 2016. Their second, Jack, arrived in November 2019. Here's the detail that changed how a lot of fans read this new announcement. Back when she announced her second pregnancy in 2019, Hathaway didn't just share a happy photo. She used the moment to speak directly to anyone struggling with infertility, writing that her path to both pregnancies hadn't been a straight line, and sending extra love to people going through what she called conception hell. That kind of openness, years earlier, is part of why this third pregnancy reveal carried so much weight for her audience. It wasn't just a celebrity announcing good news, it was someone who'd already been honest about how hard that same good news can be to reach. And in an industry that often pressures women to make pregnancy and family planning look effortless, that kind of honesty stands out precisely because it's so rare. And she didn't stop being that honest this time around either. Alongside the reveal, she posted a follow-up note that echoed her 2019 message almost word for word. Again, sending love to anyone going through infertility or a difficult path to pregnancy. Again, making clear that neither of her pregnancies had come easily or in a straight line. Fans and commentators picked up on that consistency immediately. It's rare for a celebrity to repeat the same vulnerable disclosure across multiple pregnancy announcements years apart. For a lot of her audience, that repetition read as proof it wasn't a one-time talking point. It was something she genuinely wanted people struggling with the same thing to keep hearing. A little over a week after the initial reveal, on June 30th, Hathaway stepped out in New York City, visibly further along, wearing a bright red jumpsuit that put the bump on full display. She paired it with matching strappy heels, looking every bit like someone who'd stopped trying to hide anything from the cameras that used to chase her for exactly this kind of photo. Then, on July 5th, she appeared at a photo call in London for her upcoming film The Odyssey, wearing a blue marine dress from designer David Coma's resort collection. Still glowing, still visibly pregnant, and clearly not interested in hiding any of it from cameras anymore. That press tour timing is worth pausing on. Hathaway is juggling a major film promotional cycle at the same time as a very public pregnancy. And instead of choosing one or the other, she's let both happen in the same frame. Outlets covering the Odyssey event ended up covering her pregnancy just as much as the film itself, and she didn't seem to mind that overlap at all. That's the real shift this story represents. Once she controlled the reveal, she stopped needing to control the coverage that followed. The difference between a paparazzi photo she didn't choose and a red carpet appearance she planned herself is enormous, even if the subject of both is exactly the same bump. She's also been candid about what motherhood means to her more broadly. In past interviews, she's described becoming a parent as the moment she finally felt fully present in her own life, saying she didn't feel completely landed until she became a mother. She's talked about mommy guilt as, in her words, invented nonsense, describing it as one of those small breaks people give themselves when they're not being their best selves. She's also been open about the messier, less photogenic side of balancing motherhood with a film career. During press for an earlier movie, she once apologized live on television for missing part of a screening because she'd had to feed her son, laughing it off, rather than pretending motherhood and Hollywood ever mix seamlessly. More recently, she's described parenting in warmer terms too, calling being a mom an ongoing poem she gets to live inside of, and saying she feels lucky, knowing that not everyone who wants to become a parent gets that chance. A line that connects directly back to the infertility message she's repeated across both of her pregnancy announcements. And she's continued working through all of it. Hathaway is reportedly set to appear in 6 films this year alone, pregnancy and press tour included, treating the two as compatible rather than picking one over the other. So here's the answer to the question this story really asks. Why did Anne Hathaway confirm her pregnancy the way she did? Not because she wanted the attention, because the attention was coming regardless. The moment a photographer raised a camera on a beach in the south of France, faced with that choice, she picked authorship over ambush. A video she filmed herself, on a song she chose herself, instead of a blurry, long-lens photo she never agreed to. There's also something fitting about who this happened to specifically. Hathaway has spent over 2 decades in the public eye. Since she was a teenager, starring in family films, audiences grew up watching. She's gone through award season darling status, years of unfair internet mockery for seeming too sincere, a genuine critical and commercial comeback, and now a second act as a working mother balancing a packed film slate with a growing family. Through nearly all of that, her relationship with the public has been unusually direct. She answers questions candidly in interviews. She's owned her missteps, like publicly admitting she once missed part of a movie screening because she had to feed her newborn. She's been open about infertility struggles most celebrities keep entirely private. This pregnancy reveal fits that same pattern. Someone who's generally chosen honesty over image management, even when image management would have been the easier, safer path. That's the echo worth sitting with. The paparazzi thought they'd broken the story first. In every way that actually matters, Hathaway still got there before them. The reaction to all of this has been almost entirely warm, which isn't something every celebrity pregnancy announcement gets. The reveal video quickly racked up millions of views, along with thousands of congratulatory comments from fans and fellow celebrities. Commentators specifically pointed to the authenticity of the moment. An actress known for her polish, choosing a simple, unstyled home video over a glossy magazine spread. Some fans even joked about the level of craft behind something meant to look effortless, noting the reveal had the same quality of casually filmed, but clearly still framed by someone who knows what they're doing that other celebrity home videos have had before. That mix of comments, half sincere, half affectionately teasing, is usually a sign a celebrity moment has genuinely connected rather than just generated clicks. It's also worth noting how this fits into a wider shift in celebrity culture. More public figures are choosing to announce major life news, especially pregnancies, entirely on their own platforms rather than through traditional press. Some wait months before saying anything at all. Hathaway's version of that trend has a twist, though. She didn't get to choose the timing entirely. The paparazzi forced her hand on the when. She just made sure she still controlled the how. For decades, the standard playbook for a celebrity pregnancy leak looked completely different. A tabloid would run blurry photos under a speculative headline. The star's team would either stay silent for weeks, letting the rumor spiral, or eventually confirm it through a carefully worded statement to a single approved outlet. Either way, the celebrity was almost always reacting, days or weeks behind the story that strangers had already told about them. What's changed is the tool available to respond. A celebrity with a phone and an Instagram account doesn't need to wait for a magazine's next print deadline anymore. They can close the gap between leaked and confirmed down to a matter of hours. Hathaway's response came the very same day the paparazzi photos started circulating. Not weeks later, not through a publicist's statement, but through a video she filmed and posted herself. That speed is arguably the real story here, more than the pregnancy itself. It's a small but telling example of how much power has shifted from the people chasing celebrities with cameras to the celebrities holding a phone. If you want to see how other stars have handled the exact same paparazzi forced reveal situation, some far less gracefully than this one, that breakdown is next in line for you to watch. It's a pattern worth watching for going forward too. As more celebrities gain direct access to their own audiences, the traditional paparazzi to tabloid pipeline keeps losing power, one same-day Instagram reveal at a time. Hathaway's version of that shift just happened to involve a beach in Saint-Tropez, a song from 1963, and a pregnancy she'd already been quietly hoping to share on her own terms. And if you like stories that go past the headline and actually explain the decision behind it, subscribe. New one every week.